Morning, folks. Another shave stick this morning from Leo, and it's different than Vie Long. Has a, I guess, I don't know, more soapy scent. I guess might be able to describe it. Couldn't tell you for sure, but I just didn't know that it's different. Got the alum block without the rubber band. Got the unscented witch hazel that's methylated, and I'm going to follow up the shave with Wet the Face 1K, and off camera I'll be using the Shaven Sailor Beard oil. Got the brush that we'll be using today is another horsehair brush. This one here's got a little bit more loft to it. I already squeezed some water out of it before I got started here. Already put a hot towel to the face, and this morning though I'm going to go ahead and give this a try with the Preshave Cube. Jill had mentioned that she thought that, you know, when she used it didn't have any ill effects, you know, trying to lather it up, so I'm going to give it a try. With the face lather here, see if I can whip up a bit more lather than what I did yesterday. I will see. It'll be interesting, that's for sure. Yesterday's was not as thick as what I thought it would be. I don't know if you can hear Thor. He's wanting in here, he's meowing. And he probably will continue for a while. He can be quite persistent when he wants to be. Likes to be the center of attention sometimes, even though everybody else is still asleep. Alright, here we get started here. Flash had mentioned that this soap and the Vie Long he thought was the same, and I think I'm going to agree with him. It may be a different scent, but everything else is the same. The reason why I say that, the reason why I agree with him, because if you, the containers are very similar. Yeah, they have different names on there, but the as it goes for a design, for instance, both of them have 3 holes. Just, you know, that part there is the same. The plastic base is the same. The ingredients match up exactly the same. So you kind of think, yeah, I think he's onto something there. Flash also mentioned Hasslinger, doing the same thing with it, and I have had Hasslinger for a good long while. I know at least over maybe 2 years. I've had it for a while. This Hasslinger I've got is would say not the normal size puck. It's kind of small. Might consider it bigger than bigger than a sample, but smaller than a full size. At least that's the way I kind of view it. And kind of felt like if I ever got started with it, I wouldn't, not too sure what to do with it afterwards. See how much water I'm going to need with this, even though I'm getting water all over me already. That is one thing I've noticed, at least so far. It's a bit messy doing it this way. At least it is for me. Maybe after a few more shaves I'll get better at it. I have noticed that already, that the lather seems to be coming up a little bit easier with the pre-shave, so that might be something to consider, huh? Preshave soap. I think that's what he also mentions, is that, you know, it might be a lather booster also. But now that Flash mentioned Hasslinger, just using it like a shave stick, kind of thinking that's what I need to do. So I'm thinking I'm going to use it this week. Wanting to say that kind of thinking that the scent of the Hasslinger I have is sage, maybe? I ordered it through Gifts and Care one time when I was ordering a lot of stuff through them to kind of help with the make it worthwhile because of the shipping. At that point in time, the shipping was kind of reasonable. It was different than last time I looked. In other words, last time I looked, it wasn't too terribly reasonable, so I haven't ordered anything from there for a while. It might be different if you're, I guess you might say, on that side of the world, but on this side, the boy howdy, that shipping was a wee bit steep in my opinion. After I factor in the how much the shipping was added to the cost of the products I was ordering, and seeing how much it was versus if I would ordered, you know, somewhere else, and felt like I'd get a better deal if I ordered from somewhere else. I'm going to be using a Feather Artist Club with this is the Feather Super. I used it in the Achman's razor, so this will be the second use on the blade. I have not shaved with this shaver in quite a while. We'll see what I remember. And this is my favorite shavette. For me, the way I look at it is, it's excuse me, just due to the fact that I don't feel like my face is very big, and anything that's very big, sometimes like a straight razor, is a little bit harder for me to maneuver with, where this is easier to work with. So I have been giving it quite a bit of thought about the if I was going to go with a straight razor, to use one that might be referred to as a stubby. The first time I used a super blade, I felt like it was just a wee bit edgy. Wasn't quite prepared for it, but over time I realized that this was of the feather blades, this is probably the one to use, because I tried the professional and I didn't quite get the same kind of shave. It was not near, believe it or not near as smooth as the super for me. If you look through some of the, I guess you might say, advertisements, they do mention that a super is more for the thicker, tougher beard, and I feel like that's where mine's at. So if you are kind of considering using one of these, that would be something to consider, is what do you consider your beard to be? Because not everybody's beard's the same type. Kind of mentioned this before, especially if you're younger and maybe your facial hair has not all come in just yet, or maybe it never will, just depends on the individual. I seen a little article about some of the worst beards that some of the celebrities are trying to sport, and it's because not everybody can grow a full thick beard. Some people just don't have the growth, and some do. So those that's kind of spotty, thin, a different kind of blade most likely would work better for you. different than a super. You might be able to get by with a professional or even something like a pro guard or something like that. I have yet to try one of those. Matter of fact, the professional is supers, although I've tried with the Shavette. And I really do like this one. Really do. This is definitely my favorite. This lather does seem to be a bit better. And I don't know. I'm assuming it's the Preshave. I don't necessarily need a thick lather anyway. I normally don't. A little bit thicker than this, closer to a yogurt. But there went some lather on my glasses. But I can say that this is slick enough for me to work with. Not quite the distraction now, it's still there. Go against the grain. I can usually get by with a 2-pass shave, with a Shavette shave. Sometimes I'll go across the grain on the cheeks if I feel like I need to. If I'm going to use shorter strokes, it'll probably be right about where you see where it's at, from about the jawline up on the against the grain pass. Usually that's where I end up with shorter strokes. Probably should change my angle a little bit right there. Every once in a while I catch myself right there in that crease. Just every once in a while. Feels pretty smooth, I think. We'll give it a check here. My usual spot right there. If you're, I should do that anyway. I should do that. If you're starting out with a Shavette, and there's certain parts of your shave that you're shaving, you know, you go through your shave and maybe you're not quite comfortable with the Shavette, and rather than risking a nick or a cut on a workday morning, have your favorite shaver setting by, so that way you can catch that part that you're not comfortable with Shavette just yet. And I normally, matter of fact, I've got more than one. In other words, go ahead and have it standing by to do your pickups, if you will. And for me, sometimes right through there is about all I need. That's the reason why it's only once in a while. This side over here I got it, but in other words, that's all I needed. The rest of this is good for me. Well, I did just a bit right there. I knew I did. It's better for me on the creases, and I got a bump that comes up every once in a while. I say a bump. I think it's actually a skin tag that keeps on trying to come back, and I keep on taking it off. Coming at a, let's say like a 45-degree angle. Anything other than 90 works better for me right there. And Time for the alum. Yep, and it's going to sting right there, that's for sure. It is singing a song right now. I know the first time I used, not the alum, but the first time I used a step-dick pencil on a nick or a cut like that, it was like, holy cow, that stinging was unreal. Boy, I'm telling you, it was a sting. Do have some, I got a step-dick pencil around here somewhere. Haven't had to use it for a good long while. Haven't had any major cuts or anything like that. Usually a nick like this I can get by with using a Mint Nivea cream or an aftershave balm, because usually an aftershave balm is just thick enough where it'll stop it from bleeding for me. Usually. And as it goes for a weeper, sometimes a weeper went out and come up until I put the aftershave on, which is kind of odd. Still feel like I got plenty of room to improve on my face lathering. Because as it goes for what's left in the brush, not much, and it might be that I'm not working it long enough to, in other words, not quite like my bowl lathering. It doesn't take me that long to whip it up. Usually if I'm taking any length of time on a bowl lathering, it's just because I just enjoy seeing that lather, how it develops is pretty cool. I can tell when I've hit the sweet spot for what I like, see where I haven't gone far enough or gone too far. I watch how it develops, and for me, that's, I guess you might say, that's how I visualize it in my head. I shave with it, see how it works for me, then I start tweaking how far in the lathering process do I lather that particular soap. And creams and soaps, of course, to me, in my opinion, vastly different on how they lather up. There's a big difference, at least for me. See, it's not doing too bad so far. Wet the face. This is some pretty nice smelling aftershave here. Good for a Monday. Past 2 days, they've had a warning for the heat index. So starting at the Monday right, at least smelling good at the start of the day. If I go outside very much, I won't be smelling that great by the end of the day. If you haven't seen Wet the Face, Don's website, he's got, he's on Facebook, he's on Google+, Instagram, YouTube. I think he's still doing his blog. It's been a moment since I actually, yeah, the last time I remember he still got his blog. But at any rate, he's pretty much anywhere and everywhere. He's definitely up to his eyeballs in wet shaving. And he's got some pretty decent products. I say pretty decent. As far as I'm concerned, he's right up there with everybody else. I like his soaps, his aftershaves, and they're, in my opinion, reasonably priced. Should say that this is a glass container. This one here's got started out with 3.4 ounces of goodness in there, and he's a pretty good guy. I enjoy watching his videos, and if it helps any with what I do with my videos when I watch them, some folks I watch even though I don't always agree with what they're saying, but it also keeps things in check in my mind to make sure I'm keeping an open mind with different ideas. It's kind of like face lathering. Bowl lathering was always easy for me. I started out face lathering, never felt like I could catch the hang of it. Thought I would, and that was a good long while ago when I first started. So now I thought I'd go back there and start revisiting and see if I can't catch the hang of it. I've seen enough folks, you know, face lather, it looks easy. until you try it yourself, and it just takes me a little bit of time, just like it does everybody else. So I felt like I just need to get in there and start practicing it, and eventually I'll get there. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a Monday. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.